Question 1. Commercial General Liability (CGL) insurance. A business is being sued by a third party for bodily injury sustained while using its products. The injured party claims the injury was a direct result of a defect in the product that was manufactured and sold by the business. Under Commercial General Liability (CGL) policy, which coverage would respond to this claim? A. Coverage A. Bodily injury and property damage. B. Coverage B. Personal and advertising injury. C. Coverage C. Medical payments. D. Products and completed operations coverage. Answer: D. Products and completed operations coverage. Explanation: Coverage D. Products and completed operations coverage under Commercial General Liability (CGL) policy is designed to cover claims arising from bodily injury or property damage caused by a product after it has been sold or used by the customer. This would include cases where the injury is caused by a defect in the product. Covered because bodily injury and property damage applies to injuries or damages that occur on the premises of the business or due to the business's ongoing operations, not products that have already been sold. Coverage B. Personal and advertising injury pertains to harm arising from advertising practices, defamation, or similar non-physical injury, which does not apply in this case. Coverage C. Medical payments provides coverage for medical expenses due to injuries that occur on the premises but does not cover lawsuits for injuries caused by products. Thus, products and completed operations coverage is the correct coverage in this scenario as it directly addresses product-related injury claims. Question 2. Workers' compensation insurance. A worker at a California-based manufacturing plant suffers an injury while using machinery during regular working hours. The worker has been employed by the company for several years and has a history of similar injuries. The company has workers' compensation insurance that covers medical costs and lost wages. However, the worker was previously given a warning for unsafe work practices. What impact, if any, would the worker's previous warning have on the worker's compensation claim? A. The previous warning would disqualify the worker from receiving benefits. B. The worker will be penalized with a reduced benefit amount due to the unsafe practices. C. The worker is entitled to full benefits regardless of past warnings or unsafe practices. D. The warning would only affect the employer's liability but not the benefits the worker receives. Answer: C. The worker is entitled to full benefits regardless of past warnings or unsafe practices. Explanation: In California, workers' compensation benefits are no fault, meaning that employees are entitled to compensation for work-related injuries regardless of whether the injury occurred due to their own fault, the employer's fault, or any unsafe work practices. The workers' compensation system is designed to provide medical treatment, wage replacement, and other benefits to injured workers without considering prior warnings or unsafe practices as a factor in determining the validity of the claim. A and B are incorrect because past warnings or unsafe behavior do not affect an employee's entitlement to workers' compensation benefits. D is incorrect because the employer is responsible for the workers' compensation coverage, but the worker's eligibility for benefits is not affected by warnings or behavior, and thus the worker is entitled to full benefits under workers' compensation law, irrespective of past warnings or behavior. Question 3. Scenario: Commercial property insurance. Sarah owns a small restaurant in California and recently obtained a commercial property insurance policy. During a severe storm, the roof of her restaurant was damaged, resulting in water flooding the kitchen and causing significant property damage to her equipment and inventory. The storm also damaged a neighboring building, which resulted in Sarah being legally liable for the damages. The insurance policy Sarah purchased includes business income and extra expense coverage. Given this situation, what actions should Sarah take to ensure that her business continues operating while the damage is repaired? A. Sarah should continue operating without interruption, as the insurance policy will cover all the costs of repair. B. Sarah should file a claim for business income and extra expense coverage to cover her lost income and the cost of repairs. C. Sarah should wait until the damages are fully repaired before notifying her insurance company to file a claim for business income and extra expense coverage. D. Sarah should only file a claim for the damages to the property as business income and extra expense coverage does not apply to this situation. Answer: B. Sarah should file a claim for business income and extra expense coverage to cover her lost income and the cost of repairs. Explanation: The business income and extra expense coverage is specifically designed to compensate for lost income and additional expenses incurred while a business is being restored to its pre-loss condition after a covered peril, such as storm damage. This coverage typically applies when a business is forced to close or operate at a reduced capacity due to property damage. A is incorrect because the policy does not automatically cover all the costs of repair. Sarah must file a claim to initiate the process. C is incorrect because Sarah should notify her insurer as soon as possible to begin the claims process and minimize losses. D is incorrect because business income and extra expense coverage is exactly what Sarah needs in this scenario, as it addresses both the lost income and additional expenses associated with the repair and restoration of the restaurant. Thus, filing a claim for business income and extra expense coverage will help Sarah manage the financial impact of the storm damage while her business is being repaired. Question 4. Commercial property insurance. A business owner in California has a business income and extra expense coverage in place as part of their commercial property policy. Due to a fire in the building, the business is forced to close for 3 weeks while repairs are made. The business owner is able to rent a temporary location to continue operations, but at an increased cost. Which of the following expenses would not be covered by business income and extra expense coverage? A. Lost income due to the business being closed during repairs. B. The cost of renting the temporary location for the duration of the repair. C. The cost of replacing the damaged property. D. The additional payroll costs required to keep employees during the interim period. Answer: C. The cost of replacing the damaged property. Explanation: business income and extra expense coverage is designed to cover the income the business loses when it cannot operate due to a covered peril, as well as extra expenses that are necessary to continue operations, such as renting a temporary location. However, the cost of replacing damaged property falls under property damage coverage and would not be covered under business income and extra expense coverage. It is incorrect because lost income during the closure for repairs is exactly what business income coverage addresses. B is incorrect because the cost of renting a temporary location is considered an extra expense covered by the policy. D is incorrect because payroll expenses incurred to maintain business operations during the repair period are typically covered by extra expense coverage. Question 5. Commercial General Liability (CGL) insurance. A business is sued after a customer slips and falls on a wet floor inside the store. The customer claims that the business owner failed to maintain safe premises by not putting up warning signs. Under Commercial General Liability (CGL) policy, which coverage would most likely respond to this claim? A. Coverage A. Bodily injury and property damage. B. Coverage B. Personal and advertising injury. C. Coverage C. Medical payments. D. Coverage D. Products and completed operations. Answer: A. Coverage A. Bodily injury and property damage. Explanation: Coverage A. Bodily injury and property damage under a CGL policy provides coverage for injuries to third parties that occur on the business premises, including slip and fall accidents. This coverage would apply if the business was negligent in maintaining safe premises, causing bodily injury to a customer. B is incorrect because coverage B applies to personal injury or advertising injury, not physical injuries like a slip and fall. C is incorrect because coverage C covers medical expenses for injuries on the premises but does not address legal liability for the injury. D is incorrect because products and completed operations coverage applies to liability from products after they have been sold or completed, not from accidents on business premises. Question 6. Workers' compensation insurance. In California, the experience modification rate (EMA) is used to adjust the premiums for workers' compensation coverage based on a business's claims history. Which of the following statements best describes how the MR affects a business's premium? A. A lower E. MR reduces the premium because it indicates fewer or less severe claims. B. A higher E. MR increases the premium due to a higher number of claims or more severe injuries. C. The MR has no impact on the premium amount, as premiums are determined solely by payroll. D. The MR is used only to determine the level of coverage the business receives, not the premium amount. Answer: A. A lower E. MR reduces the premium because it indicates fewer or less severe claims. Explanation: the experience modification rate (EMA) is a factor that adjusts a business's workers' compensation premium based on its claims history. A lower E. MR means that the business has had fewer or less severe workers' compensation claims, resulting in a lower premium. Conversely, a higher E. MR suggests that the business has had more frequent or severe claims, leading to a higher premium. B is correct, but it's not the most accurate answer compared to A. C is incorrect because the MR does have an impact on the premium calculation and it is not determined solely by payroll. D is incorrect because the MR is directly tied to the premium amount, not the coverage level. Question 7. Commercial auto insurance. A business has a commercial auto policy that includes liability coverage for owned, non-owned, and hired autos. An employee uses their personal vehicle to run an errand for the business and causes an accident. The employee's insurance is insufficient to cover the damages. Under the business's commercial auto policy, which of the following would be true? A. The policy will cover all damages because it covers all vehicles used by employees, regardless of whether they are owned, hired, or non-owned. B. The policy will only cover damages if the employee was using their own vehicle with prior approval from the employer. C. The policy will cover the damages to the third party, but not the damages to the employee's vehicle. D. The policy will not provide coverage because the employee was driving their own vehicle. Answer. C. The policy will cover the damages to the third party, but not the damages to the employee's vehicle. Explanation. The commercial auto policy provides liability coverage for damages resulting from accidents involving owned, non-owned, and hired autos. In this scenario, since the employee was using their personal vehicle for business purposes, the policy will cover the third-party damages, bodily injury or property damage caused to others, but it will not cover damages to the employee's vehicle. A is incorrect because the policy typically covers third-party damages, but not damages to the employee's vehicle when the employee uses a personal vehicle. B is incorrect because the policy does not require prior approval for non-owned vehicles to be covered. It applies to business-related activities. D is incorrect because the policy does offer coverage for third-party liability in this situation, despite the vehicle being personally owned. Question 8. Environmental insurance. A construction company is working on a large project and discovers hazardous materials during excavation. The company has purchased an environmental impairment liability policy. Which of the following scenarios would be covered under the EIL policy? A. Damage to a nearby building due to the release of hazardous materials during excavation. B. Cleanup costs associated with hazardous waste found on the property, but not the damage to surrounding areas. C. The company's liability for any personal injury claims resulting from exposure to hazardous materials. D. The company's liability for damage to its own equipment caused by hazardous materials. Answer. B. Cleanup costs associated with hazardous waste found on the property, but not the damage to surrounding areas. Explanation. Environmental impairment liability policies typically cover the costs associated with pollution cleanup and liability arising from the accidental release of hazardous materials. The EIL policies are designed to cover cleanup costs and damage to the environment caused by pollutants, not personal injury or damage to property other than environmental cleanup. A is incorrect because environmental liability typically does not cover property damage like the damage to a building caused by hazardous materials. C is incorrect because personal injury claims due to hazardous materials exposure would typically fall under general liability policies, not EIL. D is incorrect because the EIL policy does not typically cover damage to the company's own equipment. Question 9. Commercial crime insurance. A business purchases a commercial crime insurance policy with an employee dishonesty endorsement. One of the employees is caught embezzling funds from the company. Which of the following would not be covered under the employee dishonesty endorsement? A. Theft of money by the employee from the company's cash register. B. Embezzlement of company funds by the employee over several months. C. Theft of company property by the employee. D. Damage to the company's reputation caused by the employee's actions. Answer. D. Damage to the company's reputation caused by the employee's actions. Explanation. Employee dishonesty coverage under commercial crime insurance policy covers theft, fraud, or embezzlement committed by employees. However, it does not cover damage to reputation, which is a separate type of claim that might fall under general liability or professional liability insurance. A is incorrect because theft of money by an employee is covered by the employee dishonesty endorsement. B is incorrect because embezzlement of funds by an employee is a classic scenario covered under employee dishonesty. C is incorrect because theft of company property by an employee is covered. Question 10. Umbrella insurance. A business has a $1 million commercial general liability CGL policy. The business is sued for $2.5 million due to a slip and fall accident. The business also has a $5 million commercial umbrella insurance policy. How much will the umbrella policy cover in this case? A. The umbrella policy will cover the entire $2.5 million lawsuit. B. The umbrella policy will cover $1.5 million, which is the amount exceeding the $1 million CGL limit. C. The umbrella policy will cover $5 million because it exceeds the CGL limit. D. The umbrella policy will not cover anything because the lawsuit amount is lower than the CGL policy limit. Answer. B. The umbrella policy will cover $1.5 million, which is the amount exceeding the $1 million CGL limit. Explanation. A commercial umbrella insurance policy provides excess coverage over primary policies, such as the commercial general liability CGL policy. In this case, the business's CGL policy covers the first $1 million of the claim. Since the lawsuit is for $2.5 million, The $1.5 million excess above the CGL limit would be covered by the umbrella policy. However, the umbrella policy will not cover the entire $2.5 million as the total claim is not over the sum of the umbrella limit. A is incorrect because the umbrella policy will not cover the entire $2.5 million. It only covers the excess above the CGL limit. C is incorrect because the umbrella policy doesn't cover more than the excess amount beyond the CGL limit, which is $1.5 million in this case. D is incorrect because the umbrella policy will still provide coverage for amounts exceeding the $1 million CGL limit, not the entire lawsuit. Question 11. General liability coverage. A business owner, MS. Taylor operates a retail store. One of her employees accidentally spills a can of paint on the floor, creating a hazardous situation. A customer slips and falls, injuring themselves. MS. Taylor's commercial general liability CGL policy includes coverage for bodily injury and property damage. How would the CGL policy respond to the customer's injury? A. The CGL policy will cover the medical expenses and lost wages of the injured customer. B. The CGL policy will cover the medical expenses of the customer but not lost wages. C. The CGL policy will provide coverage for medical payments and will not pay for the customer's medical costs if they have their own health insurance. D. The CGL policy will cover the medical expenses and provide a defense for any liability lawsuit filed by the customer. Answer. D. The CGL policy will cover the medical expenses and provide a defense for any liability lawsuit filed by the customer. Explanation. The commercial general liability CGL policy includes coverage with bodily injury and property damage, which protects the business in the event of bodily injury caused by accidents on the premises, such as a customer falling in the store. The policy covers the medical expenses incurred due to the injury and also includes a defense for any potential lawsuits resulting from the injury. It is incorrect because while the CGL covers medical expenses, it also provides a defense in lawsuits, which is not mentioned in the answer. B is incorrect because it limits coverage to only medical expenses and doesn't mention the defense coverage or potential lawsuit. C is incorrect because the CGL policy covers medical expenses regardless of whether the customer has their own health insurance. Question 12. Commercial property insurance. A restaurant owner, Mr. Martinez, has a business personal property BPP policy under his commercial property insurance. A fire damages his kitchen equipment, causing a loss of $30,000. His BEP coverage has a deductible of $5,000. How much will Mr. Martinez receive for his claim? A. $30,000. B. $25,000. C. $35,000. D. $5,000. Answer. B. $25,000. Explanation. In a commercial property insurance policy, the business personal property BPP coverage will pay for damage to equipment or property. However, a deductible of $5,000 will be subtracted from the total loss. Therefore, Mr. Martinez will receive $30,000. $5,000 equals $25,000 to cover the damage to his kitchen equipment. A is incorrect because the deductible must be subtracted from the total loss. C is incorrect because the deductible reduces the claim amount, so the final payout cannot exceed the total loss minus the deductible. D is incorrect because the deductible applies to the claim, meaning the payout would exceed just the deductible amount. Question 13. Umbrella insurance. A business has a commercial general liability CGL policy with a limit of $1 million and a commercial umbrella insurance policy with a limit of $3 million. The business faces a lawsuit with a total settlement of $2.5 million. How will the CGL and umbrella policies respond? A. The CGL will cover the first $1 million and the umbrella will cover the remaining $1.5 million. B. The CGL will cover the entire $2.5 million and the umbrella policy will not be used. C. The umbrella policy will cover the entire $2.5 million, leaving the CGL policy unused. D. The CGL will cover the entire $2.5 million. Answer A. The CGL will cover the first $1 million and the umbrella will cover the remaining $1.5 million. Explanation. In the event of a lawsuit exceeding the limits of the CGL policy, the umbrella insurance provides excess coverage. Since the CGL has a $1 million limit, it will cover the first $1 million and the umbrella will cover the additional $1.5 million to bring the total up to the $2.5 million lawsuit. B is incorrect because the CGL will only cover $1 million and the umbrella policy is needed to cover the remaining amount. C is incorrect because the umbrella policy only covers excess amounts. It doesn't cover the full lawsuit unless specified. D is incorrect because the CGL policy cannot cover the entire $2.5 million and the umbrella policy is necessary. Question 14. Workers' compensation. A construction company owner, Mr. Adams, has employees working on a site. One of his employees suffers a severe back injury while lifting heavy equipment. The company has workers' compensation insurance. What benefit is the injured worker entitled to under this policy? A. Only medical expenses. B. Medical expenses, lost wages, and disability benefits. C. Only disability benefits for permanent injury. D. Only the cost of rehabilitation services. Answer: B. Medical expenses, lost wages, and disability benefits. Explanation: Workers' compensation insurance in California covers both medical expenses related to the injury, lost wages if the employee cannot work during their recovery, and disability benefits if the injury causes permanent impairment or long-term consequences. These benefits are available regardless of fault. A is incorrect because the policy also covers lost wages and disability benefits in addition to medical expenses. C is incorrect because disability benefits are only one part of the coverage and medical expenses and lost wages are also covered. D is incorrect because while rehabilitation may be covered, the policy offers broader coverage including medical, lost wages, and disability. Question 15. Inland Marine Insurance. Mr. Spencer, the jewelry store owner, purchases inland marine insurance for his jewelry stock. A robbery occurs and the thief steals a significant amount of jewelry. The value of the stolen items is $50,000. How will the inland marine policy respond? A. The policy will pay for the stolen jewelry as it is covered by the inland marine insurance. B. The policy will only cover the loss if the jewelry is damaged during transport. C. The policy will not cover the loss since it was a theft and not a transportation-related incident. D. The policy will pay for the theft but subtract a 50% deductible from the claim. Answer: A. The policy will pay for the stolen jewelry as it is covered by the inland marine insurance. Explanation: Inland marine insurance is designed to cover goods that are in transit, as well as specific types of property such as jewelry, art, and equipment, even if not in transit. Since Mr. Spencer's jewelry is covered under this policy, the insurance will pay for the stolen items. B is incorrect because inland marine insurance covers jewelry at the store, not just during transport. C is incorrect because inland marine insurance can cover theft of certain items like jewelry even if they are not being transported. D is incorrect because a 50% deductible would not apply and the coverage is not based on transportation or damage. Question 16. Environmental insurance. A contractor MS. Green is working on a construction site that involves excavation work near an underground water source. During the work, a piece of machinery leaks oil into the water, resulting in environmental damage. Which of the following would provide coverage for this incident? A. General liability insurance. B. Environmental impairment liability insurance. C. Workers' compensation insurance. D. Commercial property insurance. Answer: B. Environmental impairment liability insurance. Explanation: Environmental impairment liability insurance covers incidents like contamination or damage to the environment resulting from business activities such as oil leaks, hazardous waste, or other pollutants, in this case the leak from MS. Green's machinery would be covered under E. ILA is incorrect because general liability insurance typically does not cover environmental damage. C is incorrect because workers' compensation covers employee injuries, not environmental damage. D is incorrect because commercial property insurance would not cover environmental damage. Question 17. Bailey's Customers Insurance. Mr. Lang, a dry cleaner, is entrusted with a customer's expensive coat for cleaning while it is in the shop. The coat is accidentally damaged by a machine. What type of coverage would protect Mr. Lang's business from the cost of replacing the damaged coat? A. Property damage coverage under a general liability policy. B. Bailey's Customers Insurance. C. Inland Marine Insurance. D. Commercial Auto Insurance. Answer: B. Bailey's Customers Insurance. Explanation: Bailey's Customers Insurance provides coverage for items in the custody of a business like a dry cleaner or repair shop that are damaged, lost, or stolen while under the business's care. In this case, the damaged coat would be covered under this type of policy. A is incorrect because general liability insurance covers bodily injury and property damage, but not items in the business's care. C is incorrect because inland marine insurance covers items in transit, not items being held in custody. D is incorrect because commercial auto insurance covers vehicles and their contents, not items under the care of a business. Question 18. Commercial crime insurance. A company, MS, Ford's Corp, has a commercial crime insurance policy that covers employee theft. One of her employees steals $25,000 from the company's cash register. How will the crime policy respond? A. The policy will cover the theft since it is an employee theft claim. B. The policy will not cover the theft, as employee theft is excluded from most crime policies. C. The policy will only cover the stolen amount if the employee is convicted of a crime. D. The policy will cover the full amount, but a 10% deductible will apply. Answer A. The policy will cover the theft since it is an employee theft claim. Explanation: commercial crime insurance typically covers employee theft, including stealing money or property from the employer. Since this situation involves employee theft, it will be covered by the policy without needing a conviction. B is incorrect because employee theft is generally covered under commercial crime insurance policies. C is incorrect because employee theft is covered regardless of criminal conviction. D is incorrect unless specified, as not all policies have a deductible that applies in the case of employee theft. Question 19. Contractors' equipment insurance. A contractor, Mr. Bell, insures his construction equipment with contractors' equipment insurance. His bulldozer is damaged during a storm while not in use. How would the equipment insurance respond? A. The policy will cover the bulldozer since it was damaged in a storm. B. The policy will only cover damage during active use. C. The policy will not cover storm damage but may cover vandalism. D. The policy will cover the bulldozer but with a higher deductible for storm damage. Answer A. The policy will cover the bulldozer since it was damaged in a storm. Explanation: contractors' equipment insurance typically covers damage to equipment, regardless of whether it is in use or not. Since the bulldozer was damaged during a storm, it is covered under this type of policy. B is incorrect because contractors' equipment insurance does not limit coverage to only active use. It covers damage regardless of use. C is incorrect because storm damage is typically covered under this insurance. D is incorrect because while deductibles may vary, there is no specific mention of a higher deductible for storm damage in this case. Question 20. Commercial auto insurance. Mr. Adams, a delivery business owner, uses his company's truck for deliveries. While making a delivery, he crashes into another vehicle, causing $50,000 in damages. How will commercial auto insurance respond? A. It will cover the damage to the other vehicle in Mr. Adams' truck if he has the appropriate coverage. B. It will cover only the damage to Mr. Adams' truck. C. It will not cover anything because Mr. Adams was driving the truck. D. It will cover the other vehicle but not Mr. Adams' truck. Answer A. It will cover the damage to the other vehicle and Mr. Adams' truck if he has the appropriate coverage. Explanation: commercial auto insurance typically covers both liability for damage to other vehicles, third-party damage, and damage to the insured vehicle, first-party damage, provided the business owner has the appropriate coverage. In this case, if Mr. Adams has liability coverage, the insurance will pay for the damage to the other vehicle, and if he has collision coverage, it will pay for repairs to his own truck as well. B is incorrect because commercial auto insurance typically covers both third-party damage to the other vehicle and first-party damage to the insured vehicle when the appropriate coverage is in place. C is incorrect because even if Mr. Adams was driving the truck, commercial auto insurance would still provide coverage for the accident, as long as the correct coverage is in place. D is incorrect because commercial auto insurance can cover both vehicles if appropriate coverage is purchased. These 10 questions focus on key aspects of the California Commercial Lines Insurance Exam, covering topics such as liability, property insurance, environmental issues, and coverage for specific industries or circumstances. Question 21. Commercial property insurance. A building is severely damaged in a fire. The owner of the building has a business income policy. Which of the following expenses is NOT covered under this policy? A. Rent payments for the building's lease during the period of repair. B. Lost profits from the interruption of business operations. C. The cost of repairing the building's structure and physical damages. D. Payroll for employees during the period of recovery. Answer C. The cost of repairing the building's structure and physical damages. Explanation: business income insurance covers income loss due to business interruption caused by a covered loss like fire, but it does not cover the cost of repairing physical damages to the building itself. That would be covered under the property coverage part of the policy. A is correct because business income insurance covers fixed costs such as rent while the business is not operational. B is correct because lost profits are a core component of business income coverage. D is correct because payroll is typically covered to maintain business operations during the recovery period. Question 22. Workers' compensation insurance. A worker is injured on the job and is unable to return to work for several months. The worker is eligible for temporary total disability TTD benefits. Which of the following best describes TTD benefits? A fixed amount paid based on a percentage of the worker's wages, regardless of the injury severity. B. A fixed amount paid based on the worker's medical expenses incurred as a result of the injury. C. Benefits that pay a portion of the worker's wages while they are temporarily unable to work due to the injury. D. Benefits that continue indefinitely until the worker returns to work. Answer: C. Benefits that pay a portion of the worker's wages while they are temporarily unable to work due to the injury. Explanation: Temporary total disability (TD) benefits are designed to compensate an injured worker for lost wages while they recover and are unable to work. TTD typically pays two-thirds of the worker's average weekly wage, but may vary by jurisdiction. A is incorrect because TTD is based on the worker's wages and not a fixed amount, and the benefits are subject to limits. B is incorrect because medical expenses are usually covered under a separate provision, such as medical benefits in workers' compensation insurance, not under TTD benefits. D is incorrect because TTD benefits are temporary and typically end when the worker returns to work or reaches maximum medical improvement. Question 23. Commercial liability insurance. Which of the following is an example of a personal and advertising injury covered under a commercial general liability (CGL) policy? A. Injury caused by a slip-and-fall accident on the insured's premises. B. Injury from defamatory statements made about a competitor in an advertisement. C. A customer's physical injury from a defective product. D. Injury to an employee while performing their duties at the insured location. Answer: B. Injury from defamatory statements made about a competitor in an advertisement. Explanation: Personal and advertising injury coverage under CGL protects against claims arising from offenses like defamation, slander, libel, or false advertising. In this case, defamatory statements made about a competitor in an advertisement would be covered under this section of the policy. A is incorrect because injuries from slip-and-fall accidents are typically covered under bodily injury liability coverage. C is incorrect because product liability coverage would address injuries from defective products, not personal and advertising injury. D is incorrect because injury to an employee while performing their duties is covered under workers' compensation insurance, not CGL. Question 24. Environmental insurance. A construction company is responsible for a contamination spill that affects nearby water sources. The company's environmental impairment liability policy will cover which of the following? A. Cleanup costs to remove the hazardous materials and pollution. B. Legal defense costs for the company if it is sued for environmental damages. C. Any costs associated with repairing the damage to the environment. D. All of the above. Answer: D. All of the above. Explanation: Environmental impairment liability policies typically cover a broad range of costs associated with pollution and environmental damage, including A. Cleanup costs for hazardous materials. B. Legal defense costs in the event of lawsuits related to pollution. C. Costs to repair environmental damage caused by the pollution. These comprehensive coverages help protect businesses from the significant financial burden that can arise from environmental claims. Question 25. Commercial property insurance. Which of the following would be considered ordinance or law coverage under a commercial property insurance policy? A. The cost of repairing a building after a covered loss. B. The increased cost of rebuilding the structure to meet updated building codes. C. The value of personal property destroyed in a fire. D. The cost of renting a temporary location for business operations after a loss. Answer: B. The increased cost of rebuilding the structure to meet updated building codes. Explanation: Ordinance or law coverage under a commercial property insurance policy provides coverage for the additional costs associated with rebuilding or repairing a structure to meet the latest building codes and ordinances after a loss. This is important because local codes may have changed since the structure was originally built, and the insured could be required to upgrade the building as part of the rebuilding process. A is incorrect because the basic repair cost would be covered under standard property coverage, not ordinance or law. C is incorrect because the destruction of personal property is typically covered under the personal property portion of a commercial property policy. D is incorrect because the cost of temporary relocation is typically covered under business income insurance, not ordinance or law. Question 26. Cyber liability insurance. A company has a breach of customer data that exposes sensitive personal information. The company's cyber liability insurance policy will typically cover A. The legal fees associated with defending the company in a lawsuit. B. The cost of notification and credit monitoring for affected customers. C. Any financial losses the company incurs due to the breach. D. All of the above. Answer: D. All of the above. Explanation: Cyber liability insurance provides coverage for a variety of costs associated with data breaches and cyber incidents, including A. Legal fees for defending the company against lawsuits. B. Notification costs to alert affected individuals and credit monitoring services. C. Financial losses from the breach, such as loss of business or reputational damage. This comprehensive coverage is designed to mitigate the financial risks associated with cyber incidents. Question 27. Commercial crime insurance. Which of the following types of coverage would a commercial crime insurance policy cover? A. Employee theft of money or property from the insured business. B. Injuries sustained by employees in a robbery. C. Physical damage to a building caused by a break-in. D. General liability for damages caused by criminal activities. Answer A. Employee theft of money or property from the insured business. Explanation: commercial crime insurance primarily covers crimes such as theft, burglary, or fraud committed by employees or outsiders against the business. In this case, theft by an employee is specifically covered under employee dishonesty coverage, which is a component of commercial crime insurance. B is incorrect because injuries to employees would be covered under workers' compensation insurance, not crime insurance. C is incorrect because physical damage to the building from a break-in would typically be covered under property insurance, not crime insurance. D is incorrect because general liability insurance would cover damage caused by criminal activities, not crime insurance. Question 28. Product liability insurance. A company that manufactures toys is sued because a toy malfunctioned, causing injury to a child. The company's product liability insurance will cover which of the following? A. The cost of repairing the toy. B. Legal defense costs in the lawsuit. C. Medical expenses for the injured child. D. All of the above. Answer: D. All of the above. Explanation: product liability insurance covers injuries or damages caused by products sold or manufactured by a company. This typically includes A. The cost of repairing or replacing the defective product. B. Legal defense costs related to defending the company in the lawsuit. C. Medical expenses for injuries caused by the defective product. This comprehensive coverage helps protect manufacturers, wholesalers, and retailers from the financial impact of product-related claims. Question 29. Business auto insurance. A company's delivery truck is involved in an accident while delivering goods to a customer. The customer's vehicle is damaged and the delivery truck is also damaged. Which type of insurance would cover the damage to the customer's vehicle? A. Comprehensive coverage. B. Collision coverage. C. Liability coverage. D. Medical payments coverage. Answer: C. Liability coverage. Explanation: liability coverage under business auto insurance is designed to cover the damage caused to third-party property, in this case the customer's vehicle, when the insured is at fault. A is incorrect because comprehensive coverage typically covers non-collision events such as theft or vandalism, not third-party property damage. B is incorrect because collision coverage covers damage to the insured vehicle, not damage to another party's vehicle. D is incorrect because medical payments coverage covers medical expenses resulting from the accident, not damage to property. Question 30. Insurance regulation and compliance. Which of the following is the primary responsibility of the California Department of Insurance, CDIA, approving all insurance policies sold in the state? B. Writing and enacting state insurance laws. C. Enforcing the terms of insurance contracts. D. Setting premium rates for all types of insurance. Answer A. Approving all insurance policies sold in the state. Explanation: the California Department of Insurance, CDI, is responsible for regulating the insurance industry in the state. One of its key duties is approving insurance policies and forms, ensuring they comply with state laws. The CDI also oversees the licensing of agents and brokers, investigates consumer complaints, and ensures that insurance companies meet financial stability requirements. B is incorrect because while the CDI enforces insurance laws, it does not write or enact laws, as that is the role of the California legislature. C is incorrect because while the CDI monitors the enforcement of insurance laws, it does not enforce individual contracts. D is incorrect because premium rates for many types of insurance are set by the market or approved by the CDI, but the CDI does not directly set rates.